Hello, this is Doug. I am in Klamath Falls, Oregon. I've come to this pilot a lot. The date's September 3rd. It's about 5 or 6 in the evening. I'm off for the rest of the night. Just a few minutes ago, and I'm still doing it, I just went through my phone, specifically the Google Photos that stores all the photos I've taken. And I was going through and just saving a bunch of Japan photos and videos that were stored there. So I thought this video I would share some photos, but I wanted to talk a little bit before I share the photos, just to tell you a little bit about how I'm feeling about just missing Japan, because the name of my channel is called Driving to Tokyo, and people often ask, why did you come up with that name? And so I wanted to give an explanation, but I also want to show these videos and photos, and also clarify that they're from at least 2 years old, because I came back the last trip I was there, which is my 5th trip to Japan in 2 years. It's just remarkable. I went every fall and every spring, and then in between I was driving. So I was either driving here non-stop with maybe some little breaks, or then going to Japan every third or fourth month, but every fourth month, basically every fall and spring. And I was totally in that groove and really feeling a lot of momentum, and COVID hit. And so that put, I still don't know when I'm going to go back. I'm really starting to miss Japan, but I also wanted to talk about part of why I'm anxious and miss it is now, since last May, I've been making these videos, and I didn't know how to do this with iMovie on my iPhone. All the trips I made to Japan, I was just taking regular photos and short little videos without, mixing up the clips and adding, voiceover or, music like I can now, and just kind of putting all kinds of cool combinations, which would have made my posts on Facebook super cool. Now, frankly, probably all the stuff I have on Facebook, it's still there. It's buried. You have to go scroll back now. I think I left. I have to get my date straight, because it's 2021 now. But I believe I came back on December 18th of December 18th, it was still 2019, and I left in October, so I was gone October, November, into December, and it was the longest I had stayed in Japan into the wintertime. You know, it was almost Christmas, and then came home, and then I went back to work in January, and since then, you know, I guess it would be January of 2020, I have put on almost 200,000 miles on the Kenworth T680 truck that Knight gave me. Pretty much been working pedal to metal. And I guess what I'd like to say is I really miss Japan, but I also feel a big, you know, I don't know how, void, because the whole driving to Tokyo, you know, channel, I want it to be balanced, and I just don't want old videos and pictures. I want to have current stuff, because obviously all the driving part, because I'm in it now and I've been driving non-stop, and because I was able to learn how to use iMovie, and I'm still doing it every day now. Some days I make 3 movies. I make a video, I don't know, sometimes I call it a video, a movie, but you know what I mean. I make a video sometimes up to an hour, 20 minutes. I know I need to shorten them. I'm realizing that for a variety of reasons. The 5-minute videos download faster. They're easier to watch. They're not so long. You're just kind of check-in videos. I realize that. And then I make one during the day when I have like days like today that were pretty, I had lots of time. And then I make them in the evening. I have a 10-hour required break every evening. So I've been on the fast track making 3 videos a day, and I'm not exaggerating, because you just count the months: March, April, May, June, July, August, now September. Let's just say 3 a day, that's 90 a month. So just in a few months, that's hundreds of videos I made. Now I haven't posted all of them for 2 reasons. I was trying to take the best one I made that particular day, and I was posting it on Facebook. And then Mike came into the picture coming up to, you know, it's September 7th, it's the 3rd now. We'll be completing our 90-day launch, so to speak, together. And he's been extraordinary. It wouldn't be what it is now if I attempted to do this by myself. So it's changed my whole life. But the communication I have, gosh, I wish I was in that groove. Not only for my own joy and satisfaction, because I miss Japan and I like to have new experiences and new memories, but be able to capture those and share them with you, so they're not recycled old pictures and videos. Because unfortunately, like tonight, I'm going to share some videos again, and maybe I'll do some voiceover and some music, but everything you're going to see is from my previous trips. But the main point I want to make about the Japan, you know, Tokyo side of driving to Tokyo is that just the high points. I went to Japan the first time after not taking any international trips in almost, you know, 18 years, almost 20 years. The last time I'd gone anywhere was when I took 2 back-to-back trips to Brazil and spent about 7 weeks there, because I fell in love with my ex-girlfriend Sylvia. I went to meet her and went back again, and that was the last international trip I took. It's amazing how fast 18 years goes by when you think, when I'm experiencing that now. And so when I went back to Japan, it was amazing to me. So the first international trip I took was when I was 24, and I went to Europe and traveled around the Eurotrain Pass. It was the Eurotrain Pass in the 70s. For 6 weeks after my girlfriend Carol Cook took her life shot and killed herself. I tried to work at my job, and I just kind of went through basically a whole breakdown, left my job, and just sold everything I owned, and just took a bus across the United States and flew to London and just winged it. I had $300 to my name, and just kind of decided just to, you know, just let everything go and just take off, you know. And that was the first international trip I took. Then, you know, 20 years went by, and I went to Brazil, and then 18 years went by, and I went to Japan. So oddly enough, the 3 international trips I took happened to be in Europe, South America, and then Asia. And the last two were to Sao Paulo, the largest city in the southern hemisphere. And that was, I want to highlight that one also. I didn't go as a local. I was going there. I met my girlfriend at the airport, Sylvia, and I stayed with her in her apartment, and she cooked for me. We went shopping at Walmart, and I met her family. I wasn't in a hotel room. I was living like a local, like she was my girlfriend. I was living with her, even though it was just really short, like a month. I had a chance to experience what it was like to be a local, then went back again. Well, this Japan trip was very similar because I didn't stay at hotels, still haven't stayed in a hotel. I stayed at nothing but Airbnbs, and many, if not all of them, or a large portion of them, were Airbnbs with English-speaking hosts. That also made me feel like a local, introduced me to the friends and places, and that's why I felt really at home. And going not once, but 5 times, and within 2 years, just changed my whole life and the way I look at life. And so that's why I want to put together these videos, because and pictures or whatever, but taking consideration, when I put these together, they're my life. You know, I can look at each and every picture, and it takes me right back there, even though it was like 2+ years ago. Whereas if you're watching the videos and the pictures, you might find it interesting, but because it wasn't your experience or your life, you probably aren't going to have the same emotional response I will watching them, okay? But I want to the best of my ability, until I go back to Japan, start integrating some pictures and videos of Japan, because that's driving to Tokyo, with some talking about it. There's lots of things I can talk about. For example, how to pick out an Airbnb. So I stayed at over 50 Airbnbs. The JR Pass, the bullet trains, getting around Tokyo, you know, what I did there, food, you know, how I I flew from San Diego direct to Narita Airport, and how I did it, you know, how much it cost and how I did it. Just the event, you know, obviously you may not do it like 5 times, but if you want to, if you have ever some time where you can take a 2-week or 1-month trip to Japan, I did a whole month with airfare, all the Airbnbs, the JR Pass, all the spending money. Now, granted, I was pretty frugal with my money. I wasn't going out and eating 3 times a day in really fancy restaurants or anything like that. But the trips normally cost me right around $3,000 or so per trip. So, doing 2 a year, it was around $6,000, okay, a year. But I got paid vacation, so 2,000 of the 6,000 I paid for. So I was left with 4,000 approximately. Okay, and I haven't paid rent or mortgage in a long time since I left Denver. Since I left Denver 2009. So that really helps. The money, individual, even a single person like me, would normally pay for an apartment in Phoenix would be at least $1,000, $1,200 a month, not counting utilities and all that. So all I was really basically doing in reality was taking the money I normally would spend on an apartment in Phoenix and throwing out the window, using that same money I would normally just throw out the window for rent, for lodging that I really didn't need because I'm in the truck, and I used it to go to Japan. And I'm bringing that up because it's very duplicatable for the right person. In other words, with truck driving, it is so cool. If you're the right person, you have to have the right mentality and personality and all that kind of stuff. That's another whole huge conversation. But if it's the kind of thing that it works for you, I'm telling you, I love this lifestyle. You know, I don't even think of it as work. And with going back to Japan again, and getting back in the groove where I'm driving. I enjoy my driving. I enjoy traveling. And time goes by really fast. And I still have time, like every day, like right now, to make this video. And then 3 or 4 months goes by really fast, and bam, I'm going to Japan again. And I go there for a month, and then having a good time. I'm completely timeless space. I'm just totally enjoying myself. I'm off the truck, you know, unplugged. And then I kind of look forward to going back and traveling here and driving the truck. And then bam, 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 I'm driving for 3 or 4 months, and then bam, I'm back there again. And it was so cool to be able to say to my new friends there, yeah, I'll see you in the spring, you know, and I come back in the spring, and then I work all summer and just say, see you in the fall, and I come back in the fall, and see you in the spring, you know, just like that 5 different times, you know. And people thought I was maybe wealthy, because people, are you here on business, or do you have a girlfriend here? Why do you come so much? You know. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that, but what I'm going to do is stop and with this iPhone, just start mixing with some music. It's not going to be perfect, and but I want to point out some things. You're going to see a little dog, Sauri's dog, Gucci, Goo, you know. You won't probably feel it, but that dog has so much person. And one of the reasons I picked up Sauri's Airbnb was the first picture of which I'm going to show you of her and her dog. Okay, and then her place was only about a 10-minute walk from the beach or the ocean. It's about an hour south of Tokyo. And I just felt a good vibe from her. Plus, she made breakfast, and it was reasonable. But as soon as I met her, I just felt this instant connection. She's married. I met her husband the first night I stayed there, but he's not really in. You know, he kind of does his own thing. And Sauri and I became really good friends because of her. I got connected to Kyoto, Naoya, you know, my mind's a little mush. I got connected to David, you know, I ended up connecting to, we ended up going out, for example, on Halloween and going trick-or-treating on a base, and then we did a meetup, and we ended up 3 or 4 Navy people that were in the Navy that I ended up becoming friends with. We went out to have dinner and drink beer and hang out on the beach. And Sauri loved socializing, connecting these meetup groups, and I would tag along. So the point is, I just felt like I was at home, even though I couldn't speak any Japanese. So I'm really homesick, but I wanted to point out, because you can see a little doggy, which was her dog. Her dog had so much personality, does have so much personality. I think it's part human. But when Sauri would go out, you know, we would do a lot of things together, but everyone, you know, there were days she had plans and she'd go out. Sometimes I just like hanging out at the house with Sauri's dog. And her Japanese dog. I don't know if her dog speaks Japanese, but and her dog and I had a good bond. And there was one video of her dog spontaneously licking my bald head. That was really a fun thing. And then Yumi is on, who has watched a couple of my videos, who was living in Kyoto. At the time, she just moved up to Tokyo. And then Yuki I met through one of the last nights when I went out. I was staying at Naoya's Airbnb for a second time, and we went out for like a real cool dinner, and I went out to have some beer. I just had a great time. It was really hard leaving. It was like I was like getting on a plane when I come back, and I felt like I was leaving home, and I go through reverse culture shock coming back here, and then get back in the groove. And I was really looking forward to going back. And now it's been going on 2 years since I've been, and I'm afraid I don't know how much longer it's going to take before I'll go there. And on top of it, I'm getting older. I'm going to be 68, so this is getting kind of long. I just wanted to tee it up instead of just, I could have just mixed all these videos and stuff, and I just wanted to give it some color commentary or something like that. So I'm gonna stop talking, because we're already 17 minutes into this, and I'm gonna start just mixing some stuff, and hopefully it turns out okay. And you know, I'm looking forward to making new stuff, you know, because the bottom line, all my videos the last several months have been mostly on truck driving the truck, and very little on Japan, because I really have mostly just stuff from my past trips, and the trucking stuff is like here and now. But I just felt I wanted to share some, because the channel is driving to Tokyo, and I did this part of the whole picture is driving and going to Tokyo. So here we go, here we go. Anyway, about 3 weeks ago, after a friend of mine said to me that you could probably make some movies using iMovie on your iPhone, and I thought, really, I can really do that? And to backpedal a little bit, I don't have any videos. I had some videos with Brazil. Sylvia and I videotaped our whole entire time together, and this was back when we had dial-up, and I had videos of Brazil, but I no longer have those. I have pictures and a lot of memories from Japan, but I didn't create any like iMovie type of pictures or videos when I went to Japan. I did some lives. As many of you know that I visited, I would just turn the camera on, let the camera roll, and so I thought I would experiment with iMovie. And it was like the iMovie muse, or the iMovie spirit, like took over. I'm serious. It's like it said to me, "It's about time you showed up. I'm ready to rock and roll."